So the biggest news of the night coming away from the Bet365 stadium and emanating from the banks of the Solent, where Southampton have sacked their manager Mauricio Pellegrino with just 8 games remaining in the season. They sit just a point and 1 place above the Premier League relegation zone. That follows Saturday's 3-0 defeat at Newcastle. The club saying they will seek to appoint a replacement as soon as possible, with just 8 games, as I say, of that season remaining. It appears as backroom staff as well as Pellegrino have exited the club this evening, so a fresh start needed as they look to save themselves from relegation. Plenty of action here at home tonight as well. Full programme of the SSE Airtricity Premier Division. The latest scores at the Carlisle grounds: it's Bray 0, Sligo Rovers 2. Quella McIntyre with both goals in the first half for the Bit of Red. It's Cork City 1, Shamrock Rovers 0 at Turner's Cross. Over 4,000 people in attendance at the Cross tonight on a Monday night. It's a fantastic turnout, and seeing Kieran Sadlier converting a penalty for the champions 7 minutes before the break. Derry have finally made the return to the Brandywell, where they lead Limerick by a Ronan Hill goal to nil. At Richmond Park it remains St Pat's 0, Dundalk 0, and it's Waterford 1, Bohemians 0, I'm sad to say, at the RSC. Sander Puri shortly after coming on as a second half substitute. Stop it, Kev.
You don't have to be biased when you're doing the news round and the readings. You're not allowed to do that, Rich.
You are you're full of the we's and full of the us and all that kind of stuff.
He's
a journalist too.
He's a pundit,
away with this.
He's not a journalist. He's
well, he's not a journalist. His
somewhere in between.
His Mail on Sunday column certainly says that. In the EA Sports Cup first round, it's Finn Harps
over that thing. Will you stop?
Does he? Oh. It's EA Sports Cup first round night. There's a couple of games this week. The first of them seeing Finn Harps leading the league by 4 goals to nil. You could at least listen. Meanwhile, there are no fresh injury concerns for Ireland head coach Joe Schmidt ahead of Saturday's Grand Slam decider with England. Cian Healy will take a full part in training this week, having received what the IRFU described as the appropriate treatment to a stinger-like injury to the shoulder area. The prop appeared unsteady in television pictures during that win over Scotland on Saturday afternoon, but Irish Rugby saying this afternoon that he is indeed fine.
Richie, thanks for that. And I should tell you, this week we have teamed up with Outdoor Revolution, taking place in the RDS Saturday the 24th and 25th of March. Sean Kelly will be there, David Gillick, Stephen Hunt, Ros Purcell, Niamh Briggs, Stuart Lancaster as well. It's a weekend of engaging discussions, fitness classes, workshops, cooking demos. Everyone who enters this week will be put in the overall draw and have a chance to win as well a trip for 2 to the European Champions Cup final in the rugby, including flights, accommodation, tickets to the match as well, with thanks to Fulfill Nutrition. And also today, one listener will win a €200 voucher for Base Camp Outdoor Store on Middle Abbey Street. To enter the competition, just identify our mystery voice who is fed up with Dermot Bannon going over budget on Room to Improve.
Pain in the arse, to be honest with you.
And he does it every time.
Pain in the arse, to be honest with you.
If you know what that is, you like that?
Come on.
You like that?
Yeah. This has gone too far.
There we go. Just text the word outdoor, your name and answer to 53106. That's 53106. We'll draw today's winner at the end of the show. And tune into Off the Ball on Sunday to hear who wins that cup final trip in the rugby. All with thanks to Outdoor Revolution, taking place in the RDS March 24th and 25th. You can check out outdoorrevolution.ie.
The Football Show on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by the Boylesports app. Cash out and in-play betting available in the App Store and Google Play Store.
I'm prepared to do anything I can to play for my country again.
Do it then. What about your start to the game?
It wasn't bad, was it?
Why should an honest answer be a mistake?
How can a modern day manager not have a mobile phone?
Why should he?
So we'll talk to Pat Nevin on the Football Show this evening. We will preview the Champions League action ahead. We will tell you, Kevin, in the immediate term, will it be a third? No, we'll tell you here firstly, before all that, about the Manchester City second goal, which happened just there. Won't we?
Yeah. I thought we were going to someone at the ground there then. I thought that's what you mean. No, it was a good goal. Excellently worked.
You, Kev.
You're
all I've got here.
Do you know the one thing I'll say, Joe, here, right?
You or nothing.
Jack Butland's right. He's Stoke's goalkeeper. Probably going to be England's number 1 at the World Cup. He's had another nightmare tonight, and I think he's at fault for the second goal. Well, he's had a nightmare for the first goal. Well, he's been wobbling for fun recently. Anyway, first goal, perhaps I think it probably was. He should have saved it anyway. I think from David Silva. Even again there, it was well worked again. David Silva gets into a one-on-one situation, but the ball's bouncing. I think he's too slow off his line. I think he's too slow to react, and it's a simple finish then for David Silva just to put the ball beyond him. So. Okay. He's
You're not sure about him?
No, I'm not. And I think England's, there was talk of England, like certainly in the attacking positions, of being strong for the Euros. Anything but defensively in the goalkeeping side, yeah.
Okay. Let's look back on the weekend that was.
Rashford into the area. Rashford shoots and scores! Marcus Rashford gives Manchester United the lead. It all came from the long goal kick, flicked on, and Rashford was in behind the Liverpool defence. Rashford, second one, and Rashford scores! Marcus Rashford gets his second goal. 2 for Rashford, 2 for Manchester United.
Bonds on the edge, that's the pass. Here's Bonds! What a strike! What a goal! Oh, we've got a supporter on the pitch here. And Mark Noble, he's doing his utmost to get him off the pitch. And here's Bonds again. And now it's Lennon. And he's in from Woods. And West Ham United are falling apart. There are a handful of vociferous supporters making their way towards the director's box. And to say they look angry is an understatement. This is turning ugly. He's picked out good ones and he can hit them and does. Hard saves, but the parry brings Burnley a third.
It's going to run through for Stanislav. This time he makes no mistake. Bournemouth take the lead. You can't say they don't deserve that. So he plays it right in there towards Dele Alli. Spurs equalise. Dele Alli, who just stands up to the back post. The Son, and it's gone into the back of the net. He didn't catch it cleanly, but he doesn't care. Tottenham lead 2-1. Son rounds the goalkeeper and scores once again. Son, that's the insurance goal. Aurier, it's another.
Next and never let up.
Mustafi goes up. Mustafi wins the header. And he smashes that header into the back of the net, and Arsenal leads. Back to Mkhitaryan, who injects a bit of pace, running at this Watford defence. Slides it through towards Aubameyang, round the goalkeeper, and he scores a second. Pereira's gone down inside the penalty area, and it's a penalty kick.
Massive opportunity now for Dean, who's on the spot.
The man who said about Arsenal when Watford beat them earlier this season, they haven't got enough Co-Jones.
Troy Deeney steps up against Petr Cech, and Cech saves it, and it spins out, and it's cleared. Where were the cojones there, Troy Deeney? Might still be there. Aubameyang, but then pulls it back, and it's 3-0 to Arsenal, and it's Henrik Mkhitaryan who got the turn. Ozil into the centre, wasn't cleared. Aubameyang gives it back to Mkhitaryan.
Co-Jones, you're going with that, are you?
Is that the way to pronounce it, Jonathan? Co-Jones?
Not really.
Honestly. I'll say no more other than I was definitely a Barry Davies man. That's all I'll say.
Oh, Joey.
So breaking news this evening is that Mauricio Pellegrino hasn't had the Co-Jones to see out the situation at Southampton.
Yeah.
He has been sacked. None of this mutual consent kind of a situation. Yeah. No, he's been sacked. He signed on a 3-year deal. Southampton 1 point off the relegation zone on 28 points. They have won 5 league games this season. They've drawn 13. They've lost 12, and at the weekend lost 3-0 to Newcastle. Well beaten.
Yeah, it's those draws. You mentioned the 13 draws. That's what's cost them across the course of the season. And do you know what? When I've seen them, they're almost a club over the last couple of years. We know, yes, the last 3 or 4 years they've sold a lot of the best talent or the most talented players to Liverpool, and of course Van Dijk moving recently. But I don't get excited when I'm going to Southampton for some reason. I don't know why it is. It's just I get it. I love going to Premier League grounds. I love watching games, but I don't know with Southampton. It's a funny one. I just
did you ever?
I mean, I would have enjoyed. No, I would have. I like playing at the Dell. I did like playing at the Dell.
Kev, that wasn't yesterday or the day before.
No, I know that. But you asked me if I enjoyed going to Southampton, so I remember that well. And when St Mary's came about, what was that? Early 2000, I think it was, when the stadium was finished. And yeah, I've got to say, yeah, I probably did because it's a new stadium, but. Watching them now, no, I don't get that feeling when I go and watch them. I don't. It seems to me like there's a bit of a rudderless club, a lifeless club. That's what it seems to me like. And I know we spoke about their identity over the last few years. They've had a manager in place that basically fits within the structure, whether it's been Pellegrino has been there now or whoever it's been over the last few years. They seem to have had a certain success. Koeman, Pochettino, of course, as well. They had a certain amount of success. But the last few years, it's not been that way at all. It's not been exciting football to watch. It hasn't been great. And now, all of a sudden, you've got Southampton just drifting, essentially. That's what it seems to me.
Yeah, they don't tend to be involved in many crackers. So that's the breaking news this evening anyway. Mauricio Pellegrino has been sacked. No word yet on who his replacement is going to be. Nevin, hello.
Good evening, chaps. How are you doing?
Good. Sorry, my mic was down. I was wondering, it's not going to be you. You're not in the market for the Southampton job, are you?
Absolutely not. Although, see, they go through managers fairly quickly. And that's one of the problems, isn't it? It doesn't seem to have anything settled now. And you mentioned when you were talking to Kev there about the fact that they've sold a lot of good players. There's only a certain amount of time you can keep on doing that, developing players and getting really good players. Eventually, something's going to give. You're not going to keep on producing them. Nobody does keep on producing them in perpetuity. And on top of that, you need to make sure that what you're bringing in is good as well. And you only have to have 1 or 2 bad periods of acquisitions that don't go well, and you're in trouble. And they're clearly, they've been a mess this season. It's a shame though, because they sometimes play nice football. Some of the statistics are pretty good if you look at the amount of shots they've had on target and all that sort of stuff. But they've not had a scorer, and they relied quite a while on Shane Long, didn't they? But he didn't score for a long time, and that seemed to have an effect as well.
Yeah. So I suppose the headline from the weekend's football, anyway, on the pitch, whatever about the events in the London Stadium, which we can talk about, was Manchester United's 2-1 win over Liverpool. They're now 4 points clear of Spurs, 5 points clear of Liverpool. 2 goals from Rashford, and any sense that Liverpool had sorted out their defensive woes totally was certainly shot down.
Yeah, but they're kind of almost just about halfway or 2/3 or 3/4 even way there. But they need another centre back, don't they? Robertson's doing great. The 2 youngsters at right full back, between them, that's fine. And we know that Van Dijk's going to be okay, but there's still a weakness there, and it's whoever seems to be playing in the other position hasn't been strong enough, really. So that seems to be the problem. Having said that, it's Manchester United, it's at Old Trafford, it's Jose Mourinho who knows how to win games. He spotted a weakness there, which was make sure that Lukaku goes on the other centre-back. And, they've done the job. They've done a great job on it. I have to say I wasn't surprised at that result at all. Man United, have a look back at the record at Old Trafford. They just don't lose many games there, do they? I think Man City have beaten them twice in the last few seasons. Other than that, nobody goes there and gets a win.
I think it was quite interesting. You mentioned that bit there with Lukaku. I must confess, I didn't see the whole game part. I saw the highlights, caught the highlights from the back end of it, listened to a lot of it on radio actually, but predominantly what they were saying was how Lovren was targeted from Lukaku. And so often we've been on here and we spoke of Lukaku not having a major involvement in the game, not necessarily using his physicality. His hold-up play has been quite poor, but the one standout fact from the weekend was that Lukaku targeted Lovren and he just absolutely annihilated him both physically and maybe with his touch and everything, bringing people into play. I think that was the difference.
Yeah, but that would have been an absolute classic centre-forwards display. It was more like the thing that you and I have been asking for Lukaku for a long, long time. He's got to add something else to his game, because keep on saying the same things. You have got everything, mate, to be the best of the best. With that share of a doubt, physically, pace, there's an actual goal scorer as well, everything, but you've got to add that extra bit, that work rate. And I suppose if he needs to kind of respect, I suppose, and maybe be slightly awestruck of the guy who's talking to him. And, he hasn't shown that by anyone, but finally he seems to have kind of woken up a little bit to, what's been asked of him by Jose Mourinho. And the other thing on top of that was that shadow behind him of, if Ibrahimovic, could come back. So he had to stake a claim there. And I think that's part of it as well. I don't think he's ever really played under much, I wouldn't call it fear, but pressure. And that's maybe had a difference as well. But I wasn't even slightly surprised. I mean, the whole way that they go about the games physically, I'll be amazed if Manchester United don't finish this season second. The only surprise was I thought they might have got a wee bit closer without playing brilliantly to City, but they've done enough. Mourinho knows how to do it, and for all the fact that plenty of people are saying they didn't enjoy it, which a number of people didn't, I just thought it was a classic Mourinho masterclass.
Just to defend Lovren for a moment, because I'm sure you both seen the goal and know ultimately, like as a team and certainly as a fullback, you have to legislate for the fact that your centre half is not going to win every single header, especially against Lukaku. So fair enough if Lovren was targeted, but like for Alexander-Arnold, to be ball watching to that extent in that big a game. And you can't say it's down to youth either, given that Rashford isn't exactly a wily old veteran who knew what's what. I mean, he was on his toes long before Alexander-Arnold. If I was Lovren listening to this, I'd be saying, thanks very much, lads, but you're like, what are you talking about?
Well, but Lovren isn't as young as them, the two full. But I mean,
but you're going to lose you're going to lose a header. I mean, that's going to happen, no?
Yeah, I mean, I'd say maybe off the back of that as well, though, if you watch Liverpool's fullbacks, when you go and watch Liverpool, the first instinct is to step in. It's always step in rather than retreat. So that's not...
That's the wrong instinct.
No, it is the wrong instinct defensively, because, you know, I certainly would have been brought up with a mindset of, certainly defensive point of view, is maybe think negatively, think that your mate is going to lose the ball, then over cover at times, overcompensate, I suppose.
Good defenders are pessimists.
Pessimists, that's
What's
the word.
The worst that could happen?
But there surely is an argument that he's always asking his two fullbacks to hammer forward. I mean, they're always getting asked to do that. It's a bit like Pep at Manchester City. Just let go. We're going to have to go man to man at the back. Sometimes we're going to have to deal with it. Hey, you've got two defenders back there, and we might lose some goals, but they are asked to do it. In that moment, I agree. You're right. He was the wrong side. You know, he got wrong side, and he's going to have to learn. And you know, he was definitely at fault there. So it's not completely Lovren's fault. And by the way, Lovren isn't hopeless. But you're talking at a high standard here. You're talking about, you know, when you get to, you know, the top teams in the Premier League or the top teams in the Champions League, you're going to find out if there's any weaknesses at all. We were talking, Kev, last week about going to that PSG game, and I was absolutely stunned how much Dani Alves was being targeted during that game. And you know, he's just about 35 now, but we know he was a great player. But the amount of times that they pressured him, put the ball. If there's a weakness, you found out in this game. You found people they've got the spies out checking you all the time. But if there is a weakness, boy, you're going to get found out at that level. And certainly, the one argument I think you could have made, Joe, and I would find it very hard to argue against, is, you know what, Van Dijk, Lovren can't deal with it. You go and follow Lukaku.
Yeah, maybe.
But in general, though, most centre halves that I would have seen, Pat, wouldn't necessarily like to have that switch over.
Yeah, maybe I'm totally wrong here, but even in my own limited world of football, distinctly limited, especially in your company, like the notion that a ball would be in the air and a centre half and a centre forward would be going up competing for it, and as a fullback you would step forward. He
actually doesn't compete for it, does he? He doesn't actually compete.
Maybe, look, Lovren has to answer those questions, but I would say, even if your centre half is exceptional and wins 9 out of 10 headers, if as a fullback and his other centre half partner, you're stepping up ahead of him, you just like, that is mad. That can't ever be right, surely. No,
I don't think we're disagreeing with you.
Okay,
I think we're agreeing with you. Right, I think absolutely the case. He was in error there. He made a mistake. There are occasions in games with Liverpool where both fullbacks will be caught a little bit further up. But you're right, the ball was in the air far too long. That he's got to read that. He's made a mistake. But youngsters do that. Young defenders do that now and again. They make mistakes. By the way,
Rashford read it though, didn't he, as a youngster?
Yeah, but I mean, you know, that happens. You can make 10 mistakes if you're an attacker. Nobody will notice.
Well, fair
make
point.
One mistake as a defender and you'll notice. And he has to learn that. And he will learn it. And to be honest, there's other weaknesses both of them have got. You know, they have got weaknesses. But certainly, purely for the pace and things like that, I think they're going to be okay in the longer term. They're not the best yet, but I don't think that's the place where they need to strengthen. I think they'll be okay at right fullback, because they've got a couple there, and left fullback they're absolutely fine there as well. And just against the very, very top, you know, I mean, they're good enough to be where they are, but it's a step beyond that, which Liverpool as a club in its history want to make.
What about, from an overall point of view, Pat, how did Manchester United go about their business? Pogba injured we hear the last minute of the last training session on the Friday before the game. McTominay and Matic, and then Mata one side, Rashford the other. And it seemed, again, just looking at Match of the Day as well, I didn't get to catch the game in full, like Sanchez was kind of pushed up alongside Lukaku for long chunks.
And then later in the game he moved left, so there was a bit of an adaptability that they had there. And, you know, Mourinho knows how to kill those games off, I keep on saying it. I mean, I'm always so hugely impressed with them, but they could see where the strengths were with Liverpool. And once or twice, to be honest, they did ride their luck once or twice, but I mean, the little things they did, like, You know, Salah, he's playing out there. You know, he's been absolutely playing out of his skin. Young was absolutely phenomenal against him. You know, and just saying, right, you pick him up, you do that job, you kill that. To be fair, in the middle there, you know, Matic, I'm beginning to think he's the most important player they've got this season. The more I watch him, the more he's just killing everything in that area. And, you know, we all talk about Pogba, but Matic just keeps on sitting there, keeps on doing the job. And McTominay, I thought he's a very good player, but since he's become Scottish, I think he's brilliant.
Yeah. I saw a tweet when McTominay had declared for Scotland, and the tweet said, well, World Cups aren't that good anyway.
Look, we do know there's an element of truth possibly in that, but the oddness is, I mean, you've got to be lucky. You've got to be lucky with draws. Scotland have been pretty close quite a few times. And it's just kind of luck for us as a nation that Scott Brown's decided to retire. And the week he decides to retire, McTominay walks onto the scene. And it's like, wow, did we get lucky there? They get a new manager in, so there's I don't know about hope, but there's interest in Scotland just now. And that's a big call for McTominay because he's very young. And, you know, someone who can boss that whole, you know, because with Darren Fletcher in there as well, but someone who can grow into bossing that entire midfield area. And he's quite capable of doing it. The physique of the lad is fantastic for such a young guy as well. He's just going to get better and better.
It's a big decision within that as well. We've had a debate over the last few weeks about eligibility and things like this for Ireland, Pat, as well. So it's a big call, and he's just come out and just said, look, no, Scottish, I want to play for Scotland. And I admire that about him, that he's just actually made that decision. He's been forthright, and that's where his future lies.
Well, you kind of should know, shouldn't you?
Well, I'm with you, Pat, totally. That's what I think as well, but there's not a lot that maybe... there are a lot that would suggest otherwise, that you kind of wait and see how it goes. I don't agree with that. You know who you are, you know who you want to play for, and that's it as far as I'm concerned.
I've told you before the story of when Ireland beat Scotland 1-0. It was up at Hampden Park, and we get to the Euros.
That was Laurel, wasn't it?
I walked out in Laurel, and free kick should never have been taken from there, but I'm not bitter. And I walked out after the game, and there's my dad standing there smiling. I'm thinking, you didn't support Ireland, did you, against Scotland? To which he did come up with a very good answer, which was, well, if you're going to get beat with anyone, son, that's who to get beat by. He wanted me to choose Ireland above Scotland, but I was Scottish.
Wow. I saw, actually, before we leave events at Old Trafford, Michael Carrick has announced his retirement. I'm not quite sure what metric you can use to answer this, but how highly did you rate him? Because there's a degree of... contentiousness over just how good he was. Like John Giles, who kind of has is the word of gospel on midfield play on this station quite regularly, really wasn't so sure about Carrick and wasn't so sure he was the real deal. And then sometimes you'd hear dispatches from Xavi or somebody at Barcelona saying that they rated him unbelievably highly.
I think football intelligence was exceptional. I mean, that's when you talk about someone like Xavi or those sort of players, what they're saying is somebody's got football intelligence. Do you remember, we think about things differently when we look back. Paul Scholes for a long time was under the radar. I mean, we look back now and think, wow, he was probably one of technically the best players of his generation. Really up there, phenomenal player. You look at the amount of times he wasn't playing in that Manchester United team, and it took a long time for a lot of people out with Man United fans to realise he was phenomenal, and absolutely phenomenal. And then you ask the Spanish lads and they say, yeah, Scholes, he's the one. So it's that technical ability and the reading of the games, etc. I don't think I'd put him up with Scholes' class, but he was a very good player, and I definitely think he maximised his potential. For a player who had quite a few injuries in his career, I don't think he's got anything, and he should walk away for the game thinking I could have done better. I don't know if he could have. Yeah,
that's a very nice way of putting it, perhaps. And then the scenes at the London Stadium. I mean, Joe, toxic. And you're doing a bit of reading about it today. There seems to be various issues. I mean, they've never loved the idea of the stadium. Certainly, it seems they were promised Champions League football as a kind of an exchange almost, and this will make us a huge club. And it turns out, Miguel Delaney pointed out today, they've only made about an extra £9 million a year in revenue from the new stadium. And when you think about it, would that even buy you an average full back these days? So that stadium's not going to transform them in the way maybe they had hoped. And other subtle moves they don't like they've got they've stuck in London on the crest. You know, it's like they're trying to pitch themselves almost at wider London and almost leave behind that East End identity and various bits like that. But I mean, the scenes were quite unbelievable, pal. I don't remember seeing them. I can't think of a time when I've seen them, certainly at Premier League level.
Yeah, well, I'm happy to Premier League. Before that was not that uncommon.
Okay.
I've seen a lot worse than that. But to be honest, you go down there, and we've been there, Kev, you've been there plenty, and you walk in having spent a career playing at Upton Park and then going to watch matches at Upton Park and covering them, and then you walk in there and you go, your heart sinks. It absolutely sinks. This big, beautiful, utterly soulless stadium. You're about a quarter of a mile away from the centre circle when you're sitting up in the press box or the stand. You don't feel engaged in it at all. And the people, the fans that are there, now and again they've got it going. But it's effort. It's actually constant effort to get it going and keep it up there. And you need the team, in on the back of it as well. But they're almost, it feels as if they're trying to, this isn't a real word, but I'm going to use it anyway, corporatise the club. And if there's one club in the Premier League you can't do that with, it's West Ham. That's not who they are. That's not who their fans are. Don't try and do that to them, because it's just completely and utterly wrong. And without putting all the blame, all the complete blame on the owners, because they probably did have to move out that stadium because they needed a bigger stadium if they were going to try and compete. It's just that London Stadium's not the right one. It's just a horrible football stadium. It's just the wrong place. If they could do something about it, somehow, make it that you can get more seats closer to the ground, sink the pitch or something like that, and then get more seats down. But you're talking the money to do that would be extraordinary. It's just, I don't know you, Kev. I think it's a horrible place to watch them probably play football too.
Yeah, well, that's what it does. That's what it is like in the stadium, isn't it? As well, you can imagine that the supporters so far away. The only way maybe you could say it was very special for us when we would have played at Croke Park, but the supporters were so far away from us because of the size of the pitch. That's what it's almost like that, and because the atmosphere that was generated at Upton Park was so good and so boisterous and right in your faces, it was intimidating to opposition. I don't think opposition going to the London Stadium are getting intimidated at all. I think they're just quite happy to go and play at a lovely stadium with a nice pitch, and that's it.
I suppose it's compounded by the fact that the team aren't exactly thrilling anyway.
Well, that's the thing as well, isn't it? Coupled with that as well, and you see mistakes that's made again at the weekend, and it's it is they're a side at the moment as well that looks like they're seriously lacking any sort of confidence.
Saw Ken Early point out today as well. I mean, between Sullivan and Gold, they've done really well out of this club. I mean, they got it for about 105 million, and now it's worth the guts of 600 million. The fans are acutely aware of this kind of stuff. They know what's going on. And I mean, man, with the spectacle of Trevor Brooking sat there in the face of the mob as the directors left the seats.
Well, corporately that didn't look good, did it? Let's be fair, but that looked absolutely awful. They're trying to sell the club as to advertisers and things like that. People are going to invest in it. That looked absolutely horrible. But it's kind of more than that. I've heard some. I've not done the figures. I'll be absolutely honest with you. But I mean, I had one West Ham fan talking the other day who said they feel they've done the numbers and they think they've spent the guts of £29 million making themselves a world-class team. Well, as you say, that doesn't get you a centre half. Absolutely not. When you talk about the money spent and the money made out of sales, they're not spending big at all. And it may well be that they'd have to cash in that value, the 600 million or some of it, to be able to spend that. But the fans were promised something, and to be honest, they found themselves with a team that's no better. It's a long, long way from home, and they don't feel part of it anymore, and they feel as if the club's been stolen from them. And I absolutely understand why they would feel that way.
Yeah. I mean, it was you compare the old fellow with the flag in the centre circle. Geez, it wasn't exactly Graham Souness, was it?
He couldn't quite get it into the ground, could he?
I think.
By the way, now talk about bravery. That was the bravest thing just about you've ever seen, or the stupidest thing. Galatasaray was against Fener, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Jeez, that is mental to do that. I've played in it. Sure, you've played there, Kev. I've played against Gala.
No, I wouldn't. I played Fenerbahce once. That was it. Yeah, played in Turkey though. I have played in Turkey.
It's mad. Wonderfully so.
Well, I would love to see the fella with the flag. I'd love to have been inside his head to see what he thought it looked like, because I get the impression he thought this was, Braveheart on steroids kind of a thing. It was a bit pathetic. It was a bit sad. The whole thing was a bit sad, really, in many ways.
The thing is, if they go and win a couple of games, they'll forget about it and move on. The thing is, do you think if they manage to squeeze and stay up, which I suspect they will do, actually, if they stay up, is it much going to change next year? You kind of doubt it.
That's the thing. We're pretty much out of time. Any final point either of you want?
I just want to maybe put to Pat just briefly. We spoke about Hazard over the last couple of weeks, the role that he played at the weekend. Olivier Giroud coming in for Chelsea just ahead of the Barcelona game this week as well. So I don't know if you've had a chance to watch the game back or anything, but I was at the game and I was impressed with how Chelsea went about it. The scoreline suggests otherwise, but I thought Chelsea were impressive for 60-70 minutes at the weekend.
I've read a couple of newspaper articles who were having a right go at Giroud, saying that he couldn't score and he missed chances, he hit the post, etc. And I'm thinking that team looked 100 times better with him up there.
Yeah.
The space that he created, the movement he made, the strength that he added to the team. And it classically was one of those ones, try and watch the game, don't watch who did or didn't score and judge it in 1 second. He was superb for that and made a massive difference. They looked much, much better. They lost a lot of that confidence later on in the game. But my hope for Chelsea is, come Barcelona, they've got to put someone with some sort of physical presence up front, because if they don't, they're just going to be defending for 91 minutes constantly. And if you do that against Barcelona, you will get done.
Yeah. Are you at Champions League this week?
I have to cover it for Chelsea. I have to do it back at Chelsea Football Club. Okay. So I'm actually be sitting beside Mark Hughes doing it. So I'm going to give myself plenty of space and elbow room out of his way, so I don't get barged when he's watching the game.
Yeah, I can imagine. Listen, thanks very much. We'll talk to you next week.
Look forward to it. See ya.
Pat and Nevin there as ever on a Monday. Stoke 0, Manchester City 2, 79 minutes on the clock. We'll update you on that game. We've been keeping an eye on it out of the corner of our eye in the last few minutes.
Football on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by the Boylesports app. Cash out and in-play betting available in the App Store and Google Play Store.
News Talk Breakfast.
Cheltenham is due to start tomorrow, and who better to preview than Ruby Walsh? Ruby, you're back after 3.5 months out. Are you ready for the festival?
I think I am, Alan. Physically, definitely ready to rock. I think I can't do any more than I did. And mentally, I think absence makes the heart go fonder. So mentally, I'm fresh and sharp and mad for action.
Well, we're all looking forward to Cheltenham and then Twickenham Grand Slam Saturday. So good luck for the week, Ruby.
Oh, hopefully we can keep the English off the park all week.
Hear the full News Talk Breakfast podcast at newstalk.com and on the News Talk app.
In association with AIR.
You learn something new every day. Did you know that the Nissan Qashqai is Ireland's best-selling crossover of all time? That unlike other crossovers, it also comes in petrol. It's Ireland's best-selling petrol crossover, in fact. Did you know that you can get up to €4,500 scrappage on a new petrol or diesel Qashqai, but only until March 31st? And did you know that rats laugh when they're tickled? But we don't recommend testing it. Talk to your local Nissan dealer today. Nissan. Innovation that excites. Terms and conditions apply.
I'm Alan. We all have good days and bad days. Now when you're going through different stuff, or if you're having a bad day, read something, write something, just do something. Most times after I've actually done something, you go, I actually feel a bit better.
When we go through tough times, little things can make a big difference to your mental health. Visit yourmentalhealth.ie. Brought to you by the HSE.
Travelling Lufthansa, please note it's just been named the only 5-star airline in Europe.
With 41 flights a week from Dublin, including 4 daily flights to Frankfurt and up to 2 a day to Munich, plus connections to over 400 global destinations, Lufthansa offers 5-star service all the way. Book now at lh.com.
And welcome to today's racing at Cheltenham, and they're off. The Irish Mirror, today's favourite, is already out in front, but each and every day there's interviews with riders on the inside, followed by views from traders, and coming through is our resident tipster, alongside live information on the day as they come into the final.
Get into Cheltenham. Get into the Irish Mirror. In print and online at irishmirror.ie.
Whatever stage you're at in life, deciding to switch your mortgage can feel like making the move all over again. Well, it doesn't have to. Not with Ulster Bank's amazing low mortgage rates, which you can benefit from whether you're a new or existing customer. There's never been a better time to make the move to Ulster Bank, because amazing low mortgage rates really are help for what matters. Search Ulster Bank Amazing Rates and talk to us today about making the switch. Ulster Bank. Help for what matters. Maximum loan to value is 90%. Varies by buyer type. Lending criteria, terms and conditions apply. Security and insurance required. Product fees may apply. Warning, if you do not keep up payments, you may lose your home. Warning, if you do not meet the repayments on your loan, your account will go into arrears. This may affect your credit rating, which may limit your ability to access credit in the future. Ulster Bank Ireland DAC is regulated by the Central Bank of Ireland.
Football on Off the Ball.
Brought to you by the Boylesports app. Cash out and in-play betting available in the App Store and Google Play Store.
So still Stoke nil, Manchester City 2, 83 minutes on the clock. Curious, what did you? I mean, it's kind of, you shared a pitch with Carrick.
Played against Carrick, Michael Carrick, quite a lot actually. Yeah.
So 150 games for West Ham. He moved to Spurs in 2004. Did his 2 years there, and then went to United for 18 million off the top of my head. 5 Premier League titles. Won obviously the Champions League in 2008 as well. And then, I mean, in some respects, that was a brilliant Manchester United team who lost those 2 Champions League finals. But it was to Barcelona, who were just kind of unbeatable around that time, 2009 and 2011. And then, 12 years at United, 24 goals. Just the one appearance for England at a major tournament.
Yeah, you just said that.
34 in all.
That is unbelievable, really.
34 caps in all. So, did you rate him super highly, or was he just kind of a very good player?
No, I rate him highly, yeah. I think he was an excellent player. Very, very good. I remember playing against him at Spurs and at West Ham as well before they moved to Man United, and yeah, excellent footballer. He was controlling games more for those teams than he probably was at Man United. And I think he went in around probably better players, so you're not getting noticed as much. I think that's probably what it is. But I think in general, even his United career was very, very good. But maybe it was something that Pat touched on there. Maybe is he the sort of player that United might need now? I think in general, I think he used to pass forward. I think he used to bring strikers into the game. I think he was certainly, that was put into him quite quickly. If you're playing this side in midfield, certainly under Alex Ferguson, you've got to pass forward. You've got to maybe break lines quickly, and I think that's what he did.
From memory, I think Giles' exact criticism is he never passed the ball forward enough.
I think he did. I think when he was at his best, when he was playing for United in that side, particularly when you're alongside Paul Scholes. Paul Scholes has that freedom to do things that maybe others can't do it anyway, simply can't do it. And I think he was in the team to keep things ticking over as being maybe that holding midfield. But I used to see him bringing strikers into the game quickly. That's when I think he was at his best. And I think when he probably wasn't at his best, when he wasn't playing well, when he was playing within himself, that's where you used to see a lot of his sideways and backwards passing. And I think that's when you maybe, I think we are quick to judge, I think, on ability sometimes when maybe it's not necessarily the good things that you're seeing in a player.
Paul Scholes recently lashed out at Jose Mourinho. He said he was maybe using Pogba in the wrong position, and Mourinho, in a really vicious way a couple of months ago, talked about the fact that, look, well, Paul Scholes, you just can't be bitter at Pogba just because you haven't made the money that he's made, Paul. It was a really nasty shoot down of Scholes,
and I'd fairly say that Paul Scholes wouldn't give a shit about that.
Couldn't care less. Next up, though, to be shot down by Mourinho for saying something about him is Frank de Boer.
Yeah, I saw him at the weekend. He was working for BT on that Palace Chelsea game, so he was pitchside. So he's obviously been asked that question about Rashford from the early game in the morning, and he wasn't complimentary of Jose Mourinho's handling of Marcus Rashford, was he?
He said it was a pity that Rashford played under Mourinho, and I guess that Mourinho's not getting the best out of Rashford. Mourinho heard about this, and he said, "I've read some quote from the worst manager in the history of the Premier League, Frank de Boer. 7 matches, 7 defeats, 0 goals." Ouch. Because you have to check that.
Yeah.
He was saying it's not good for Marcus Rashford to have a coach like me, because the most important thing for me is to win. If he was coached by Frank, he would learn how to lose, because he lost every game.
Well, that is the ultimate shoot down, isn't it? You can imagine now, every single time, if BT or any TV company were to get Frank de Boer back on, imagine the amount of tweets that'd be going into those stations.
Yeah,
they'd be quoting that as well. So it's a hell of a put down.
We talked about the biggest story of the weekend at the very top of the show, and that is, of course, the fact that Jamie Carragher spatted a 14-year-old, his father, I go as far to say
you're not happy about him now, are you?
Equally as despicable in a different way, as bad as spitting is. But, opportunistic.
I'm with you.
Driving while looking over at Carragher and videoing him with his phone, and just, I don't know, the only adult in the room or in both cars was the 14-year-old daughter.
Yeah.
She really was the only person with a bit of sense who told the dad to turn off the phone as well. All that said, this was bad for Carragher. I mean, the Twitter mob was out. The PR war was in danger of being lost. So they did what they had to do, Sky. They've suspended him for this evening and threw him into the, not Sky Sports News studio, but the big one.
Yeah.
The big one. He went on to Sky News this afternoon.
You are highly paid. You're in a position of power. That brings responsibility with it. What kind of message do you think you have sent out, and how can you make amends for that?
A poor message of not just about being in the game or football. It's a poor message for everyone out there, man, woman, or children. It's the lowest of the low. I think whenever I was brought up as a kid, spitting was that, and I've never done it before. I can assure you I'll never do it again. But right now, the only thing I can do, as I said, is come in here, apologise, and try and get back to the person that I know I am.
What can you say to people watching who you have let down, not least of all the family involved in this, but your fans, people who have looked up to you, people who have seen you as a role model? What do you say to them?
Well, I apologise because I know that will put a lot of even my supporters, families and friends in a very difficult position. But the most important people I'd like to apologise to is the family involved.
Yeah, Sarah Houston asking the questions there. It was he looked pale, he looked like a man who hadn't slept well. He was grim. I just don't know what the hell he was thinking.
It's a total head loss, isn't it? Then he's lost his head, and what he's done, it doesn't look great. I've got to say that it doesn't look great at all.
Well, it's not great.
It is. It's not. You're right. It's not great. But he has to get on with it now, doesn't he? We said earlier on, I think what Sky will do, sit him out of tonight. Yes, he'll be back on the screens, I would imagine, in the non too distant future. Probably, maybe even sit a weekend out this weekend, and then maybe the weekend after, and that'll be it. Hopefully, just draws a line under it. But it's not great. It's not a great. It wasn't a great thing, actually. It wasn't great viewing, actually, as well, was it?
No.
From either side, I'm with you as well. From either side, I don't think the parent as well looks great in that video as well.
No.
Or sounds great even as well.
No, just wow, what a weird exchange all around. Anyway, there's Champions League matches this week, which we want to briefly look ahead to. Kev, tomorrow you're at United Sevilla, which will be that one is still very much in the balance, and then Chelsea have to go to the Nou Camp to try and overturn things. We have Leon Blanche from Boylesports on the line to help us do so. Evening, Leon.
Good evening, lads. How are you?
Very well. So, Kev, how do you see these shaping up?
Yeah, I mean, I think you're looking at Roma and Shakhtar, the other one, and Besiktas Bayern. They're pretty much, certainly the Besiktas Bayern game, that's dead. But the United Sevilla one, I'm looking forward to it to see how United does set it up. What does Mourinho do? If you look at it the weekend, yes, Pat Nevin said earlier on, it was almost a tactical masterclass from Mourinho at the weekend against Liverpool. How he set them up, how he targeted Lover, and how he targeted the defensive weakness, what he felt down Liverpool's right hand side. Well, let's see what they do tomorrow night. Let's see if they go out and attack Sevilla, because they certainly didn't do that in the first leg.
How are you seeing this one, Leon?
Yeah, look, I mean, I'd probably agree with Kevin. I think United have come under a bit of pressure, but I think they've responded. I mean, they've beaten Chelsea, having gone a goal behind. They've beaten Palace, having gone 2 goals behind, and they've beaten Liverpool. So, at the moment, I think United are the form team. They're very good at home. If they scored the first goal, you'd have to say Sevilla will struggle. Sevilla drew 2-2 at Anfield. But I think they couldn't beat Maribor away in the group stages. And I think if you're a Manchester United fan and all you have to do is win this game by whatever score it is, you'd have to fancy your chances of making it into the last 8.
Yeah, they're not
13, But look, I don't think United will ever be a classic team under Mourinho, but they'll just get the job done. And I think if you're Jose Mourinho, you just want to be in the last 8 of the Champions League.
What I was going to say earlier as well, off the beat, the 5th in the Liga, 11 points off Valencia, who were 4th in the table. They're struggling. They probably won't make Champions League places now for next season. Lost 5-2 to Atletico Madrid a couple of weeks ago. Lost at the weekend to Valencia. They're not coming into this game in great form at all. And you're probably looking at it, maybe in our own head, you think, Man United at home, at Old Trafford, Champions League night, let's go and put them aside. Let's go and beat them well and get the job done quickly, because Sevilla are not a great side at all.
And then, Leon, what about Chelsea's chances of turning things around in what would be, if they managed it, a pretty remarkable turnaround?
Well, I think, look, when you look at Chelsea from Stamford Bridge, they were very unlucky not to come away with a much bigger lead. Willian hit the post twice. There was 2 defensive errors which cost them that all-important away goal. But I think if you look at Barcelona in their 3 group games at home, they've scored 8 goals and they've conceded 1. So they're pretty impressive at the Nou Camp. I think if you've watched Chelsea away to Manchester City, be prepared to watch an action replay. I think they're going to just sit back, try and soak it up. And it's probably the classic Italian in Conte. He'll be hoping for a 1-0 win, but I just cannot see anything other than a Barcelona qualification. You're not going to get rich backing Barca. They're 5-2 on to win at home. Chelsea will try and keep it tight, as I've said. I think if you're a Chelsea fan, you would hope that he doesn't play Hazard as the number 9.
Yeah.
Because he's just so ineffective. You've got Morata or you've got Giroud. You've got to play a number 9 up front who's going to, at least when you're under pressure, lump the ball long and maybe he can hold it up and bring the likes of Willian or the likes of Hazard involved in the game. I think if Chelsea start without a number 9, it's only going to be one result, and Barca are going to coast through this. I hope Chelsea have a little bit of a go, play a number 9 up top, but I can only see Barcelona making it through to the last 8. Chelsea are as big as 6.5-1. It's not often you see Chelsea that big a price.
Yeah, well, I'd really be with you. I'd really be with Leon, to be fair. You know, some of the nonsense that he does talk at times, but Barcelona themselves, unbeaten nearly a year in the Liga. They've not been beaten at home since September 2016. Comfortable win at the weekend against Malaga to set them up. So I think this will be a comfortable enough win for Barcelona. Yeah.
Okay, we'll see how it all works out. Leon, we'll leave it there for the time being. Thanks a million.
All the best, lads.
Leon Blanche there from Boylesports. Take a short break. Chelsea, Barcelona on the Wednesday night. Manchester City 2-0 up away to Stoke. They're into injury time now.
Off the ball on News Talk.
Mark was meeting his brothers later. They'd the serious business of a stag weekend to plan.
Right. Dig the trench for these pipes quickly, finish early, meet the lads.
Always ask yourself the question on construction sites.
Are you sure it's safe?
Check with ESB Networks for underground electricity cables before you dig, and look out for overhead wires when operating tall machinery. Stay safe. Stay clear of electricity wires. For emergencies, call 1850 372 999. ESB Networks, serving all electricity customers.
Some say it's easier, less hassle and cheaper to get your Ford serviced at a non-Ford workshop. Let's bust those myths for good. Nobody knows or cares about your Ford like the experts in Ford workshops nationwide, with prices starting from just €149 for cars and €169 for vans. It's great value too. Our price match guarantee means we won't be beaten on parts, and get a free €20 Topaz fuel card with every service. Ford Service, where the sum of all parts adds up to better performance and greater value.
When that niggling pain builds into something that makes it difficult to even think straight, try new Salpa Extra. With its dual action formula of paracetamol and caffeine, it treats pain fast. Because it's soluble, Salpa Extra gets to work 2 times faster than standard paracetamol tablets, based on absorption data. For pain, think new Salpa Extra. Acts fast so you can get back to life. Ask your pharmacist for advice. Salpa Extra soluble tablets for the treatment of mild to moderate pain. Always read the leaflet.
When it comes to Cheltenham, the going doesn't get better than this. I'm Paddy Mullins. Pick up the Irish Independent all this week for top tips and the most comprehensive coverage of the Cheltenham Festival, with expert analysis of every race from Ivan Yates, Michael Verney and Wayne Bailey, as well as my unique insights. Plus, Vincent Hogan captures the special flavour of the festival. Pick up the Irish Independent today and equip yourself to take on the bookies. The Irish Independent, the official Irish newspaper to the Cheltenham Festival.
Some things just aren't meant to last. Candles in the wind, cheap underwear, and big old clunky vacuum cleaners. Like, be honest, when's the last time you changed the dust bag or even used yours? And why would you? When Appliances Delivered are selling the Dyson V8 Absolute. their most powerful cordless vacuum cleaner, for just €399.95, saving you over €200. Or the Dyson V6 for €249.95, save €170. Go on, get yourself a Dyson at appliancesdeliver.ie. Why pay more?
Off the ball. This is News Talk.
So I should tell you that the mystery voice earlier on was...
Pain in the arse, to be honest with you.
And so the winner of the €200, that is Robbie Keane, I don't even need to say really, of the Basecamp Outdoor Voucher store on Middle Abbey Street is Paul Noonan from Enfield in County Meath. So well done, Paul. Text in, well lads, on the West Ham fan, this is very interesting, I must look back on this actually, on the West Ham fan who ran onto the pitch with the corner flag, the reason he did this was in tribute to a very famous protest in the club's history in the 90s, where a pitch invasion started because a fan did the same. Check out the Bond protest. I will certainly do that. And actually, did you realise that?
No, I didn't know that either.
Somebody on Twitter, it was Brian Gavin, has corrected Jose Mourinho. De Boer only lasted 4 games. Mourinho was giving him 7.
Yeah, and I think he actually won one of those games in the Cup. He'd won a Cup game, hadn't he?
Okay. So maybe Mourinho got confused. Get your facts right. Though he definitely didn't win a Premier League game.
No, he definitely, no, 100% didn't.
And in 4 games, and no goals.
Definitely no goals. I think the 7 games, they went 7 games before they actually scored a goal, even the 3 under Roy Hodgson, wasn't it? So, yeah, he's very wrong in that one.
Lads, no mention of Liverpool's defence for Mata's overhead kick. He had 10 yards of space around him with Van Dijk on the 18-yard line, says Brian in Wexford.
It's a great point. He was so...
Not a great point. Charlie in Galway.
Oh, great. So you're putting. See, it's now you're on a level now, Joy. So you're on a level where you can actually put these people to bed. You can put these people to bed.
If you're calling that a great point, Kev, you've nowhere to go soon.
No, it is. Well, there's a lot of great points that's made, Joe. A lot of great points.
I don't know though. I think you're gonna, set a certain bar.
Is it?
Otherwise, you'll think certain things will be like profound or biblical.
Well, I've never said profound about anything really.
Was that Old Trafford yesterday? This may be profound. Was that Old Trafford yesterday? Says Charlie in Galway. Matic and McTominay ruled the roost in midfield, especially in the physical battle. It was the difference between the teams, reckons Charlie. Interesting, Pat Nevin highlighting Matic.
Well, it certainly wasn't profound because the game wasn't yesterday; it was Saturday. So there you go.
There you go. Look at you.
No, I'm just saying. Yeah, again, it's difficult sometimes when you're actually watching highlights to get a full view. But what I'd heard McTominay, and as Pat spoke about earlier, Matic has been United's best player this season. He's been outstanding.
We've got to go. Tom Dunn is on the way. OTBAM back tomorrow 7:45. Good luck.